Good morning everyone. Welcome to the YouTube channel of Little Flower School, Rapti Nagar. I am Amit Kumar, your computer science teacher, and this is your 16th video lecture for class 12th A and 12th B. Actually, few of my students have contacted me and actually they queried about that they were not able to get those notes from the site link over there. So I have gone through the error, and till this Wednesday, that is tomorrow itself, you would be able to see all your notes and everything, your exercises and all over there. That will be available for you to download, and I am only talking about class 12th computer science students, okay, of both the sections of course. So if you have any kind of queries like this, you can click on the link given in the description below and you can submit the query to me. And even as I told you, from tomorrow onwards, these notes and exercises will also be available to you in the link given in the description. Now, what is the topic for the day? As you are knowing from our previous tutorial itself, from the 15th lecture itself, we have started our programming in Java. And the topic that we are going to discuss today is related to streams, taking input, and StrinkTokenizer. So the three topics that we are going to discuss today are streams in Java, taking input, and StrinkTokenizer. Just have a look to the topic, and meanwhile let me tell you what we are going to do, right? What we are going to do in streams, what we are going to do while taking input and with StrinkTokenizer, because maybe few of you have already dealt this topic, okay, in class 10th or 11th, but we are going to understand it from the basics itself. So let's deal them one by one. So let's start our first topic, streams in Java. Now the question arises here, what do you know, what do you understand by the term streams in Java? Now streams are actually path through which data travels from a source to a destination. In Java, the path through which data flows, the path through which data moves from a source to a destination is known as a stream. So definitely there are two basic types of streams available in Java, known as input streams as well as output streams. Now input streams are those paths through which data travels while inputting, and output stream are those paths through which data travels while showing as output or while outputting. Now to understand this, okay, suppose this is our program, and this program is actually taking input, is actually taking some values. So definitely we will give input in form of or with help of any input device. So we will take help of any input device and we will provide input to this program. And similarly this program will show output, and to show output we need help of an output device, right? Now it depends on the program what sort of input it is dealing and what sort of output it is giving. So according to the type of input and according to the type of output, we decide the input and output device. Now for example, if our program is taking text as input, then the possible input device will be a keyboard, because it's a device through which we can input the text. And similarly, if our program is showing output, showing print, right, showing output as hard copy, so definitely the possible output device will be a printer. And we will need a stream. This program will need a stream, will need a path that will take value from the input device. Now the path which will take value from the input device is input stream, and similarly a path that will take value from the program to the output device are output streams. So basically there are two types of streams, input streams and output streams. Now the type of input depends on the type of input device, and similarly the type of output depends on the type of output device. Now basically the data that is traveling through these streams, there are two types of data that travels through the stream. So first of all, there are two types of streams. Let's name them input stream and output stream. Input stream and output stream. Now These are type of streams, and you know what is the use of these streams. Now the second thing, if we are taking input, there can be different types of inputs. Similarly, if we are giving outputs, there can be different types of outputs. Now these streams will take data, definitely, and the data that our program will deal will be of any of these two types. The data can be character, or the data can be in bytes. Bytes means in binary forms. So the data can be in character forms, or the data can be in binary forms. And you know what? Are both streams, that means input and output, both the streams deal with both type of data. That means we are having option to take data in form of character as well as to take data in form of bytes. We are having option to give data in form of characters and to give data in form of bytes. So definitely we are going to deal with both types of streams, and throughout this video series, video lectures, we will come to know. But what sort of stream I am going to talk today? I am going to talk one of the basics or one of the standard input stream in Java. This standard input stream takes value or accepts value from the keyboard. I know you might have heard this name many times. Now let me tell you what is this standard input stream. It is system.in. But let's see what this resembles, what this system.in resembles to us. Now if we write system.in, what it is? What is system and what is this in? Now let me clarify a few things. First of all, system is a class. System is a class. Now where this class belongs, system is a class of the lang package. So the complete address of system class is java.lang.system. Okay, so in the java.lang package, this system class is there. Now inside this system class, what is this in? Actually it's an object. So it's an object of system class? No, definitely not. It's an object of some other class. Let me tell you which class. But system is a class, and inside this system class, let's suppose, I'm not showing you the whole code, just the format. So inside this system class, there is an object, in object, declared of some certain class. Which class? InputStream class. So in is an object of InputStream class. Now because in is a member of system class, to access the member of system class, we will take help of this dot operator, and hence we are writing system.in. But some of you might have a doubt, like if in is an object and a data member of system class, how we are accessing it directly? Because we have not created any object of system class and we are able to access the members of system class. How is it possible? Because of one reason. This in object of InputStream class declared inside the system class is a static object, and because it is a static object, to call this object, to refer this object, we need not to create any object of system class, we can refer it directly. As like you can refer to any method of math class directly. I hope you understood. Now in is an object of InputStream class declared inside system class. So of course, with the name you have understood, in is referring to a stream. In is referring to a stream. And which type of stream, which sort of stream? Input stream. And to access that in object, we can call it as system.in. Because system is part of java.lang package, we need not to import anything to use this. Now if system.in is a stream, is a path connected to the keyboard, we can take any value from the keyboard with help of system.in. Are you getting it? Let me show you how. Now I hope you understood this. Now there is a method in InputStream class, and because in is an object of InputStream class, it can call that method. Now what's the name of the method? Method name is read, and actually it is overloaded method. So there are few other signatures also, but I'm telling you the basic signature that we will use. So read is a method and return type of read is int. So definitely to call this method we can call it as system.in.read. Okay, now this read method will return an int. Now what it will return? Actually it is used to accept a character from the user and it returns its ASCII code, or you can say Unicode. For example, if I have written this like this, int x is equals to system.in.read. Okay, so what will happen, as soon as this line is executed, our cursor will stop on the screen, on the terminal window, until we enter a character to it. And suppose I have entered capital A, so what will happen? It will return integer of that capital A into x. Now what will be the integer of capital A? 65. Okay, capital A is ASCII code or Unicode, that is 65. So x will be having a value 65 into it. You got that? So in .read method or read method of InputStream class is used to read a character and return its ASCII code, which we can store inside an integer. Suppose you want to store in form of character itself, that also you can do, like char, suppose ch is the variable, and you can call this system.in.read method. You can call this definitely, and before entering it into the character variable, typecast into character, explicit typecasting. So you are accepting an integer, you are accepting a character from the user through the read method, which is returning its ASCII code, that is integer, and we are again typecasting the integer value to the character itself. Okay, so this is how we can take character and store it in a character variable. Now of course you might not have seen such a way to take a character before this, and if you have, then good. Let's see, and is there any other way to do this? Actually Java is providing us a class known as InputStreamReader class. So right now we have heard about InputStream class, but I am going to tell you InputStreamReader class. InputStreamReader, that means a class which reads the input stream, right? A class which reads the input stream. Now this class can be used to take a character from the user, but you know we are able to take the character from the user with system.in. What is the need of another class to do that? Now to understand this, you have to understand the difference between an input stream and an input stream reader. Now let's see what's the difference between an input stream and an input stream reader. Well, there are plenty of differences, but the basic difference between them is input stream used to take value from the user in form of bytes. So whenever you are taking values in binary format, it's better you should use input stream object. Okay, but if you are taking value in form of characters, then input stream reader is a better alternative, because it also, with the help of this, if you are specifying a specific character encoding like Unicode, like ASCII, like any other character encoding, if you can specify a specific character encoding to this class object, and hence while reading it, it can follow that specific character encoding. Now which is not allowed, which is not which cannot be applied on an input stream object. So the basic difference is input stream take value in form of bytes, input stream reader take value in form of characters. Okay, so I hope you understood the difference. Now let's see how to use InputStreamReader. Now first of all, you should know the package name. InputStreamReader belongs to java.io package. So the complete address of InputStreamReader is java.io.InputStreamReader. And if you are using it, you have to import this, because definitely java.io is not the default package, so we have to import this package if we want to use any specific class of this package. So InputStreamReader object can be created, and with the help of that object we can take value. Now let's see how to create an object and how we can take value. So InputStreamReader, any object name. So it's an identifier, I am giving ISR. Now as you can see the syntax, first of all you have to specify the class name, then you have to specify the object name. I know you know the syntax and some of you are having confusion in it, so I am specifying the syntax for them right now. And then after a keyword new, so it's a keyword, it will always remain there as it is, so it's a keyword. And then constructor name, so because class name is InputStreamReader, constructor name will also be InputStreamReader. Now the constructor, within the constructor you have to specify something, and what you have to specify? Stream. You have to specify a stream over there from which this reader will read, because streams are path. So you have to specify a certain path through which this reader will read. And right now our path is keyboard, right? So we will specify the keyboard over here with system.in. Now please don't forget this syntax, or don't forget how you are going to create an object like object of a class. It will always be like that. The only difference will be class name will change, so constructor name will change, number of parameters of the constructor will change. Rest, new keyword will be there equals to, object name will be there. Well, you can specify any name to the object, but the syntax will always remain same. And once an InputStreamReader object is created, you can call that read method. The syntax to call the read method is as like we were calling earlier with InputStream object. So isr.read, and this will also return an integer which I am storing in a variable right now. Of course, it's the ASCII code of the character that we are reading, and we can typecast it if we want to store it in a character variable. So this is how you can take a character either directly with the system.in or the InputStream object, or with help of an InputStreamReader object. And both the ways, in both the way you are calling the method as I have shown you right here. Now there is a problem when you are going to call this read method. Now that problem I will show you in the practical session today itself, and I will tell you how to rectify that situation. It's an error actually. I will tell you how to rectify that error, but we will study that error in detail in the upcoming videos lectures. Now the error is exception actually, and we will study exceptions in detail in the upcoming video lectures. So the error that we will face while calling this method and how to resolve that error, I will tell you in the practical session today. So stay with the video, and till within the end of the video you are going to understand it completely. So with two ways we have created, we have taken value from the user, and both the ways we have taken character values from the user. Now suppose user want to give collection of characters, because what is happening right now, if you remember the diagram, the block diagram that I have created in the beginning of the lecture today, what is happening right now is the program is actually connected with a stream. Okay, now this stream is connected, this stream is for the key, not the keyword, for the keyboard. Okay, and this program is connected to the keyboard now. Now how we have connected? We have connected with InputStreamReader or with system.in, whatsoever you like. And we are entering some text through the keyboard, like my name is, right? So we are typing like that. So one character at a time will go through this path, and one character at a time will be entered over there. So if we want to accept, suppose my name is only, so 2, 1 space 3, then 4 7, then 1 8, and then 2 10. If we want to accept enter these 10 characters over there, definitely we need system.in or InputStreamReader object to call that read method for 10 times. Then only we would be able to accept 10 characters. And now I even don't know in advance that how many characters user is going to enter. So in that case, accepting collection of characters from the user would be more handy for us. Now how is that possible? Actually for that we need a buffer memory. Okay, we need a buffer memory, and with help of that buffer memory we can take collection of character from the keyboard inside the buffer memory first. Now we will keep on storing that character in the buffer memory until unless that it becomes a string, right? And once it becomes a string, then we will supply that string, then we will pass that string to the program. So we need a small buffer memory, and I am going to discuss two buffer memories like that today, and we can take help of any of those two buffer memories, and then we will also discuss what's the difference between them. Okay, so let's see. What is the buffer memory here? The two buffer memories that we can use is BufferedReader. Now this is a buffer memory which can be connected to an InputStreamReader, and the other one is Scanner. Okay, so we can use any of these two buffer memories over here. So what will happen? This stream will be connected to a buffer memory. Now this buffer memory can store collection of characters, and then that collection of character will be supplied to the program. Now the question is how to use these buffer memories, and what's the difference between them. And of course, when I will tell you the class name, I will definitely tell you the package names. So let's see how to use these buffer memories, so that we can take collection of characters from the user or string from the user. The first buffer memory that I am going to tell you is BufferedReader. So BufferedReader. Now the package name. BufferedReader is also available in the IO package. So the complete address of BufferedReader is java.io.bufferedreader. Now of course we have to create an object of BufferedReader, and that BufferedReader is nothing but a buffer memory. So we have to connect this buffer memory to the stream. The thing is, BufferedReader cannot be directly connected to the stream. It needs to be connected to a reader, a stream reader. So if you remember, for our input stream, we were using an InputStreamReader class. So what we are going to do, that object of InputStreamReader will be connected to this BufferedReader object, to this buffer memory, and then we can take collection of characters with the help of BufferedReader object. So let's do that. So we have to create a BufferedReader object. Object name you can give anything. I am giving BR is equals to, of course, new keyword and BufferedReader object again, BufferedReader, and here you have to pass the InputStreamReader object. So if you remember the earlier statement where I have created this ISR object with the InputStreamReader statement, so that ISR I will pass over here. So this is how I created an object of BufferedReader, and I pass that InputStreamReader object to this buffer memory. Now the thing is, some of the students sometimes used to say we have to create two objects over here. So Java provides you a shortcut for that. Now instead of creating an InputStreamReader object and then passing that object to the BufferedReader constructor, you can replace this statement with the code that I am writing. New InputStreamReader system.in, and this statement you should pass over here instead of passing ISR. Now what I am passing actually, if you remember, we take space in memory with help of new keyword. So this new statement was actually creating a space in memory, and that space reference was being passed to ISR. So now what I am doing here, instead of creating an ISR object and storing a reference of a memory location, I am creating a memory location and directly passing the reference to the constructor. Now what is the advantage? Advantage is one, we need not to create InputStreamReader object, so definitely a programming line is reduced. Okay. Second thing, it saves time also. Okay. What's the disadvantage? Suppose we want to take help of InputStreamReader object also. That means we want to take value, sometimes we want to take value from the buffer memory, sometimes we want to take value from the reader itself. Then we can't do in this process, because in this case we are not having any reference of it. But if we have created an object, then we are having two reference. One reference of InputStreamReader object, one reference of InputStreamReader and one reference of BufferedReader. So if we want to work with InputStreamReader object, we can do that. We want to work with BufferedReader object, we can do that. So there is an advantage of creating object of both. There is an advantage of passing the reference like this. So it's up to you, whichever whichever approach you feel easy, you can take help of that approach. Okay. Now once BufferedReader object is created, you can take value, and what's the method name? Method name is readLine. Okay. So mixed case, you remember, readLine, L will be capital. Now this readLine method is a BufferedReader class, so with the help of BufferedReader object we can call it br.readLine. Now what's the return type of this method? That is string. I told you collection of characters. So this string I can store anywhere. Suppose I want to store it in a string variable. Of course a string can be stored in a string variable. I can store it like this. Now what if I want to take integer, what if I want to take double, what if I want to take float or any other primitive data type? So let me tell you, with the help of BufferedReader, with the help of InputStreamReader, or with the help of InputStream itself, you can only take string or character. So if you are working with BufferedReader, you can take string. If you are working with InputStream or InputStreamReader, you can take characters. But you can't take any other primitive data type. So definitely this is a limitation. Actually it can be resolved. It can be resolved by two ways. What are the two ways? First way, it can be resolved by taking a string from the user and then converting that specific string to any specific primitive data type. So it's accepting a string and converting to a specific type, first way. Another way is taking help of another buffer memory known as scanner. Now scanner class can be used to take data in any of the primitive, I should not say any of the primitive data type. There is a limitation with scanner. We are going to come on that limitation as well. But if we are taking input with scanner, we can take in most of the primitive data types. There are few exceptions in which we can't. Rest other primitive data types, scanner class directly provide value from the keyboard in that specific primitive data type. So it's a very good advantage with scanner. But one thing you should remember, that BufferedReader can be used with a reader. That's why we are passing an InputStreamReader as a reference. But scanner can be used with a stream. So if we are using scanner, we have to provide reference of a stream. Okay, so with stream system.in, but of course, so we can create a scanner object and we can call those methods. So I'm just going to discuss about those methods because we have used scanner a lot in class 10th and 11th as well. So I'm just going to talk about those methods and primitive data types, and of course package. So scanner is a class in java.util package. So the complete address of scanner is java.util.scanner. Scanner object you can create like scanner, object name I'm giving scan is equals to new keyword, class name again scanner, that is constructor itself, and reference address of a stream. So I'm passing keyboard as stream over here, system.in. And now with the help of scan object we can call next, let's see, byte B capital, short, int, long. So I will show you these methods over there in practical sessions. So with the help of these next methods, we can take value in form of any of the integer, byte, short, int, long, any of the float or double, and boolean as well. But we can't take value character. Okay, there is an indirect approach, but of course we can take help of that approach as well, but scanner directly cannot take value in form of character, and buffered reader can. Now the thing is, what's the difference between them? So there are plenty of differences. Few of the differences you are going to understand, few of the differences are beyond your syllabus scope. So let me tell you these differences which are part of your scope, and few differences which are not part of your scope. I'm just going to name them. I'm not going to go in much detail. Let's see the first difference. You can give the difference like buffered reader is a class which can be connected to a stream reader. Scanner is a class which can be connected to a stream. Buffered reader has a bigger buffer memory. Like I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's 1 KB or maybe more than that. I will assure you after verifying it. But comparatively to scanner, a buffer reader has a bigger buffer memory. So scanner can be used in those places where we are entering small collection of characters. But when we are entering a big collection of characters, buffered reader is a better option. If we talk about the presence in Java library, so buffered reader is much older than scanner. So I think from the first version of Java, buffered reader was available, either 1.1, and scanner came very late. Okay, so buffered reader is much older than scanner. And another difference, with the help of buffered reader you can take values in form of string, but with the help of scanner you can take value in most of the primitive data types. One more difference you can tell from buffered reader and scanner, well, that difference is related to exception actually. Like buffered reader creates checked exception, whereas scanner doesn't. So that you are going to understand once exception is clear to you. So these were some differences between scanner and buffered reader. And I showed you how to take value, what are streams, how to take values from the user, what are input streams, what are output streams, how to take value from the user in form of characters, how to take value in form of string, and how to take value in form of primitive and non-primitive data type. The last theoretical topic to discuss today is StrinkTokenizer. Now what is StrinkTokenizer? Now this is actually moreover a practical topic than a theoretical topic, but I want to tell you the purpose of StrinkTokenizer and then we will move on to the practical session. Now StrinkTokenizer is actually a class. So StrinkTokenizer is a class. Now where this class belongs to, what's the package name? So java.lang is the package name of StrinkTokenizer class. Now what's the purpose of this class? This class is used to break a string into substrings. Suppose you are having a string like this, my name is Amit Kumar. Okay. Now this is a string, and you know this is actually collection of many words separated by spaces. And I want to break this whole string into substring, where the first string will be my, the second string will be name, third string, fourth string, and fifth string. So I want to divide this single string into 5 strings, 5 substrings, right? Actually, so I can do that with help of StrinkTokenizer. It's not necessary that we have to break, or we can break it with spaces only. If you are having any special character that is part of a string and you want to divide that string with that special character, still StrinkTokenizer is a very good alternative. For example, I am having this date like 19/05/2020. Now this is a string. Suppose it's a date, but it is a string which is separated by these slashes, right? And I want to divide this string into 3 strings, where the first string will be date, second string will be month, third string will be year. So definitely here space is not the criteria according to which I want to divide the string. So with the help of StrinkTokenizer, you can divide a string into substrings and you can specify your own criteria. Now that criteria, that character according to which that string is going to be divided will called as delimiter. Okay, so definitely string tokenizer is a class. You have to create its object, and to create its object syntax will be same. Now within the object there are two constructors that you can pass. The first constructor is where you will pass this string, right, and that's it, and it will divide that string with spaces. It will divide that string into substring as spaces as the delimiter. So the default delimiter is space. The second constructor is in which you will pass the string as well as the delimiter. Okay, then according to the delimiter, according to that character, it's going to divide that string into substring. So as far as theoretical session is concerned, that was the last topic we have to discuss today. We have seen what are streams in Java, types of streams in Java, taking values through input streams, and a class, a reader class for that stream, and of course how to use buffer memory with how to use buffer memory along with these streams. We have dealt these topics, and of course we have also dealt what's the difference between buffered reader and scanner class. So, and of course the last topic that was discussed today in the theoretical part was string tokenizer. So that's it for the theoretical part. Let's move on to the laptop for our practical session. So welcome to the 16th video lecture and the practical session of that lecture. So today in the theoretical part we have seen the streams, and now let's see how to use those streams and those classes and objects, and what are the various complications that we will face while using them. So first of all, I'll create a class and I'll make this an application program, and this is to show you taking input. So this class name is taking input itself, and this is to show you how we will use those streams and how we will use those stream readers to take character, and what are the complications we will face while taking that. So rest of the things I am going to delete from this class, and all that I will have is the class name, and I will create a main method inside it. So this only will make sure that it is a application program. Another advantage of having an application program is you can easily copy paste and keep it on the JDK environment and run it directly to see the output. So first of all, I am going to take help of the system.in class. So I will ask the user to enter a character, so that I will do with the help of system.out.print method, and here I will ask the user to enter a character, and then I will take the character from the user from the terminal window, and I will store it inside a character variable. So let's see. First of all, I will create a integer variable itself, and I am going to store it there. So system.in.read. So if you remember, when I was telling you theoretical aspect of this program or theoretical aspect of this class, I told you that we can face some error while using it. So let's see what error we will face here. So you entered, and let me print that character. First of all, let's see what's the output of this. So I'm saving it and I'm compiling it, and you can see one error over here, right? You can see that error. Now click on it, and you can see what's the error: unreported exception. So in the theoretical lecture itself, I told you that this would be an exception, and I will tell you about this kind of exception when I will tell you about the exception. Actually, exception lecture will be there, but till then I can name this exception right now. This is a checked exception, an exception that is checked by our compiler. So whenever we will call this read method, either we will call this read method of in object, or we will call the read method of that InputStreamReader class object. In any of the way, and in any of the case, we will face this exception. Now in exception handling, I will tell you how to solve this exception, but till then let me tell you how to solve it now. Note down the exception that is occurring over there. So right now the exception is IO exception, and do mention
And do note down, do observe the package name, that is java.io. So IO exception class or an IO exception is occurring of the java.io package. So what you can do, you can come here in the method name. So in whichsoever method such error is existing, such error is coming, you can come to that method name, the signature part of the method, and as soon as you close the parenthesis, write throws. So there is a keyword throws with an S. So throws and this exception name, IO exception. So if you are not lazy, you can type the whole path like java.io.io exception. Otherwise, if you will not type this whole path, what will happen? Another error, a compile time error. Now what's the error? It will not recognize IO. Let's see that. Let's go to this. Cannot find symbol IO exception. It is not recognizing it. The reason is we have not imported the package. Now generally, you use this asterisk, but I would suggest you to use individual import statement in the program. Now why? Now this will help you to remember the package name, and that will be very helpful while working on projects. So fine, let's compile it now. So see, no error. So this is the problem. When you will call this read method, you will find this checked exception, and how to solve it? Use this throws keyword along with the exception name. Now suppose you don't want to import this even, and if you don't want to import that statement, and even if you forgot the name of the exception, then what you can write, just write throws exception, and you know what, this will also work, and you know what, this will work with any of the exception. Now I will tell you that later why, but till then both the ways both are the two ways through which you can handle this exception. Now let's see what will be the output of this. So I compiled it, I get back to the IDE, right click on this main. See, when I right click, I found this main method. Because it's static, I can call it directly, and OK. So on the terminal window, it's printing enter a character, and I am entering, suppose, small a. Here it is at the bottom. So if you are working on BlueJ 4 point something or above, you will find this input box down there, and whatsoever you will input here on the terminal will be shown here. Enter, and you see it's printing 97, the ASCII of small a. If I will run this again, and if I will enter, suppose, capital B, it should be 66. Let's see, 66. Fine. So it's working. It's taking a character and printing its ASCII. And if you want to print the character itself, you can typecast here while printing. Before printing it on the, or before concatenating it to the string, you are typecasting it to character. Or you can create a character variable and typecast it here itself. Okay, so compile it again, right click and enter a character. Let's enter two characters this time, A, B. Okay, so it is taking only one character. You got that? So as no matter how many characters you are entering from the keyboard, if you are calling read method once, it will accept only one character. Another way to accept the character is with help of InputStreamReader class. So I will create InputStreamReader object for that. You know what? If you will pass the whole address of the class like this, you will not need to import anything. So this is actually the standard way to refer to any class. But as we programmers are mostly lazy, we are having that approach of importing the package name above and then just noting down the class name over here. So both ways are applicable. Now here I have to mention the source or the stream, so I am mentioning it system.in, and error is gone. Now instead of calling the read with system.in, I will call it with ISR, that is InputStreamReader object. Now for a while I am removing these throws, okay, and compiling it. See, this is also showing the same error. unreported exception, right? Same kind of error. So both InputStreamReader and system.in, whenever you are calling this read method, it is a part of checked exception, and we have to resolve it. There are two ways. I am telling you one. We have to resolve it either by this way. The other way I will tell you in the exception lecture. So here you will write throws IO exception or throws exception. The benefit of writing throws exception is you need not to import the IO exception class. Okay. Now compile and run it again. Output would be same, no difference. Now some of you will ask, sir, in theory part you told us that InputStreamReader is accepting character and system.in is accepting byte. So what's the difference? Both are giving same output. So as far as you are dealing with only terminal window, taking text and printing text, there is no difference. Until unless you are dealing with binary data and textual data differently. An example of binary data is any image file. So if you are dealing with an image file, InputStreamReader cannot be helpful for you. Okay, so for a broader sense, there is a difference, but as far as CUI is concerned, console interface is concerned, there is no difference between system.in or InputStreamReader. But now we need to work with BufferedReader, if you remember. So see, I need not to import anything for this because I referred the whole address. But if I won't refer the address, like I am not going to refer the address here with BufferedReader object. Okay. Sorry. Now, as you can see, plenty of mistakes today. As you can see, I am passing the InputStreamReader object right now. And what advantage I will get? Okay, before going on to the advantage, see the error. It's not recognizing BufferedReader, BufferedReader, because we have not mentioned the address. So either we have to mention the address over there with the class name, or we have to import. Okay, so it's in a part of IO, so BufferedReader. Okay, now another thing is, now we are able to accept strings. So let's take a name from the user, enter name. Okay, now as we are able to accept string, let's create a string object or string variable. Okay, and accept a string to it by calling readLine method. Okay, one more thing, we cannot typecast it into char, and instead of printing you entered, I should print hello and the name, whatever name user have entered. Fine. Now the thing is, to understand that, let me remove this line one more time. Okay, let's compile it. You see, readLine method is showing the same error, unreported exception, right? So the read method as well as the BufferedReader readLine method, all of them shows this unreported exception error, or they are part of checked exception. So to solve it, again we have to write this throws exception and error is gone. Now let's print this or run this program. So compile it and right click, call this main again. This time it will accept a string. So I am entering Amit. So hello Amit. So it is accepting string from the user, right? And suppose if I enter any integer, what happens? So if I enter any integer, and to understand that, let's see. Let's create a program, a different program for that. So add, and few things I'm going to copy from this program, right? So let's see. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to accept two numbers from the user with BufferedReader. I'm going to add them. Okay, let's see. Of course I have to import. Instead of that, this time I'm specifying the complete address here. Okay, and here also with the constructor. Now compile. I hope everything is fine. We will enter two numbers from the user few changes I have to make in this program. I will use println, and let's suppose two numbers are in var1 and var2, and as these numbers are actually string, so we'll create string variables. And now let's create another string variable, or directly print here var1 plus var2. Fine. So inside pair of parentheses we will write var1 plus var2. Fine. And let's print the output. So right click, run the main, 25 and let's suppose 14. So it's printing hello 2514, and I hope you understood this. The reason is, if we are taking string from the user, we cannot operate on it with all the arithmetic operators as we will operate on it with them if they would be numbers. So there should be some mechanism to convert string into numbers, and that I will tell you later on when we will study wrapper class, just in the next video lecture itself on this Thursday. So that will be part of that lecture, how to convert the string into a specific primitive data type. But till then, let's see if we want to accept and add, scanner is a better alternative. And how to do that? I'm creating a scanner object instead of these objects. So scanner, and you know how to do that, how to call it. So scanner, and here I have to specify the stream rather than the reader. Got that? And I have to import the util package. Fine. Now method is also changed, next method, and as I want integer right now, so next int. Second thing is, these will be integer types rather than string type. And we should not print hello, right? We should print summation or total. Even that is better. It is better than hello, saying hello to these numbers. So now let's run this program, and as we are accepting an integer, it will work well. There is a problem with scanner, and that I will tell you later on how to deal with it. Suppose if I enter numbers like this 20, again an exception occur, and of course I told you that there will be a lecture on exception itself, so there we will discuss these things. So though we can take normal integer, float, double, so next int method is there, so I will tell you various methods that you can use, and then we will see a StrinkTokenizer. So let's see in sample2 itself, there is a sample2 class. Let's see various methods in scanner which allow us to take different primitive data types. So let's see, I am creating a scanner object with complete address, so I need not to go up and import any statement over there, and then I will ask the user to enter numbers. That's it, enter numbers, and I have to enter them according to an order, because this is a sample program. I'm just telling you how to take different primitive data types, so that's why I'm just writing this, enter numbers, and I will start with byte. So byte A, variable name I'm specifying normal, so A scan dot next byte, B will be capital. Okay, so this is just to tell you what are the various methods. Okay, so there are 4 methods for integer: next byte, short, int, long. So next byte, short, int and long. Of course data types will be changed along with variable name. Short, C, int, and I should be small, and long, and this should be D. Now let's enter real numbers. So there are 2 ways or 2 forms of real numbers. Enter real numbers. Now there are 2 forms, so let's copy these 2 codes for them. One is float and one is double. So methods are next float and next double. Now variables will be changed, so float and double, E and F, and last one is boolean. Last one is boolean. Now enter boolean, and that is true or false, whichever we want to enter, we will enter that. Let's copy this one for the boolean one, and the method is next boolean. You see the mixed case over here, do follow that and don't provide any space in between. So I have created variables from A to J, G, and I told you there is no method to accept character, but there is an indirect way to do that. I will tell you that indirect way, and then we will move on to StrinkTokenizer. So I will just print these variables. Okay, 2, 3. Sometimes it get hanged. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and variable names are in an order. So I was just showing you how to take values, that's why I have given meaningless variable names. Okay, but I suggest you to always give meaningful variable names so that you can refer to them easily and quickly. So I am just, okay, there is an error. Let's see what's the error. Okay, this is boolean variable. I was in a hurry to run. There is no H. Have I left anything? C, D, E, F, G. Have I left anything? Okay, character. Okay, for 7 should be there. My mistake. Character is not supported. Let's run. So n 2, 3, 4, 5. Real numbers 2.56, 35.56, and boolean true. So if I am entering in correct form, it is accepting them and it is printing them. But if I will change the form, definitely it will also show an exception. So to handle those exceptions, we will discuss that thing in next lecture or next to next lecture when we will study about exception. So class name this time for string or for creating substrings. So breaking string. Let's the class name will be breaking string, and here we will use StrinkTokenizer. We will accept a string from the user, okay, and then with the help of StrinkTokenizer we will break it first without any delimiter, then with a delimiter. So let's create it as application program. Later on we will have an object oriented approach. So right now we are just discussing about some of the basics of programming, right? And right now some strings. So let's see, let's take it with BufferedReader. So complete address java.io.bufferedReader. So a hint to you, you can copy paste few things if you want to type fast, okay? And few keyboard shortcuts are there to reach from one place to another, that you should know. So that will be very helpful while typing on editor. Okay, so right till now it's okay. Now let's accept a string. Yes, this is an error. I got it. It was not okay. So new InputStreamReader. So java.io.InputStreamReader. If you found it lengthy, so definitely I'm sure you are trying to mug up the code. If you remember the concept, then it won't be lengthy for you. So we are just telling enter text or enter string. Okay, and we are going to accept that text or string in a string variable. Okay. Now a string buffered reader string text is equals to new br.readLine. Now it will show an error, so I will add that throws exception. Now here I will use StrinkTokenizer. StrinkTokenizer object st is equals to this StrinkTokenizer class is actually in util package. Okay, so if I have mentioned, or if you have read somewhere like it's in lang package, so I checked it, I verified it, it's in util package. So you can import, or you can write the complete address over there as well. So import java.util.StrinkTokenizer. Fine, and here you can pass this text now. So now we will divide it into substring. So how I can get different strings from it? So for that you have to call actually one method next token, but actually for that you have to know how many substrings are there. So first you should know a method through which you can come to know how many substrings it had formed. So the method name is count tokens. Okay, the method name is count tokens. So how to call it? So you can call it st.count, and you don't forget that mixed case tokens, and take it in a variable like count. Okay, so that is total number of tokens. Now you can run a loop for that many times. Okay, and call that method which will give you the word or that token. Here token represents a certain substring. So less than equals to count, because we started from 1 and I++, and here you can call next token method. So st.next token. So you can store that next token in a string variable, next token. Okay, like here suppose I created a string variable wrd and I printed it. So it will print all those words separated by space. Now why it will separate according to space, why the delimiter is space? The reason for that is we have not specified any other delimiter. Okay, so let's run this one. So right click, fine, text. So let's enter my name is Amit Kumar. So see, it separated this string into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strings. We can create an array and store these 5 strings, and then suppose we want to work on each word, this will be very helpful for us. But StrinkTokenizer is not in use nowadays. So nowadays there is a split method which we use mostly, but of course there is a different speciality of StrinkTokenizer and different speciality of a split method that we will discuss later on. So that's how we can do that. Now let's suppose we replace the constructor with a delimited constructor like slash. Okay, so let's compile it and let's run it, and this time I'm going to enter, do you remember, I'm going to enter today's date. Okay, so let's see, so it's 19/5/2020. Now see, it is separated. Now you can take that string and you can convert that string into specific primitive data type if you want. In the next class we are going to discuss about wrapper classes, and we are going to discuss about few more topics. So then after you would be able to do that. Few programs also we will discuss in the next class. So that's it in today's lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.